This is the last tutorial in the car series of tutorials for ICS2.0. And in this tutorial, we're finally getting to something a little more powerful than what we had before. The first thing that I want you to notice is I have a car. I've drawn it slightly differently than the cars in the past few tutorials. And when I open that symbol, I have various states or labels. So one of them is to the left, one is to the right, one is from behind, one is from the front, and one of them is stationary. On each of these, you'll notice that I have the car, and in this case, the car is an instance of car left. So car left, if we look over in our library, is this clip. So to the left, and it's moving up and down. Car right is this clip, etc. What I have done is under Properties, under Instance of Car Left, I can click Swap, and I can swap the symbols. So what I've done is I've created 5 frames, and on each frame I've swapped the symbol that I'm dealing with. So I've made a left, a right, an up, and a down, etc. And then on the frames above, I've created keyframes, and each keyframe I've given a label. So left, right, back, front, and stop. And we'll see why these are important in a minute. If I go back to scene 1 and I open up my code, this is where this becomes useful. So in this code, I'm using a key press handler. So I have left pressed, right pressed. These are Booleans. What these are showing me is what buttons or button is being currently pressed. I also have what I've called an animation state, and that's a string, and all the animation state is whatever the label was from the car. Now I have my listeners, so I have a key down handler, a key up handler, and I have what I'm calling a game loop on enter frame. So that game loop is going to repeat over and over again every, well, hundredth of a second or millisecond, something like that. So let's first go down and look at our keys. So my key down handler, if e.keycode is equal to 65, then left press is true. So basically, every time a key is pressed, one of these states becomes true. 65 is the A, 68 is the D, so we're using WASD for the keys. And Flash, oddly enough, uses its own codes, which are slightly different than ASCII codes, so you need to look up the exact key code, and you can do that by Googling Flash key codes or something like that will give you the right key codes. Key up handler is just the exact opposite of the key down handler. And then I've created this little key test just so that I can trace through and make sure the keys are working properly, but I've turned key test off, so I've changed that to be a comment. So now if we go back up to the top, we're going to look at the game loop, and the game loop is where the meat of the program lies. And in the game loop, we have defined a variable called animation state. Actually, it's defined here, but we've set the variable animation state to be equal to stop. And then all we're saying with this if statement is we're checking to see which keys are being pressed. So if the left key is being pressed, we're going to change the animation state to left, and we're going to move the car to the left 10 pixels. If right is pressed, then we're going to change the animation state to right and move the car to the right 10 pixels. If up is pressed, we're going to change the animation state to back. So what's in the quotes here on each of these if statements lines up with our label. So whatever we labeled in the previous screen in the car, we have to use the same name, the same spelling, the same capitalization in our animation state in order for this to work. There is one thing in here that I've put in that you probably haven't seen before, and that is each of these, I'm saying car.y plus equals 10. That is equivalent to car.y equals car.y plus 10. So those are the same things. It's just a short form to make it so that you don't have to type car.y twice. And then at the very end, I'm saying car, so I'm referencing my car object, dot go to and stop at the animation state. So it will go to the animation state and then stop at that point. Now if I run this, if I press up, I go up, down, I go down, left, right, and I look like I'm animated. This has been the last tutorial in the car series. Thanks for watching.